So next up, we have Ryan Cowmeadow, and Ryan is a licensed clinical social worker. He's coordinated the HomeShare program, as you've heard, with the University of Michigan Health Systems Housing Bureau for Seniors. He's done that since 2007. He's also currently the vice president of the National Shared Housing Resource Center, which is a clearinghouse for shared housing programs nationwide. And he also teaches. He's a faculty member at Eastern Michigan University, teaching undergraduate and graduate level social work and gerontology courses. So, Ryan?
Thank you, Wendy. Okay, so I'm here to talk to you about HomeShare, which is near and dear to my heart, and I have about 10 minutes to do it in, so I'm going to try to keep this moving pretty quickly. I do have a PowerPoint presentation for you. I'm going to be talking to you about the goal of the HomeShare program. I'm going to talk to you about the benefits. I'll give you a brief history of shared housing in general in the United States, and then we'll have some time for question and answers at the end. And when you talk about shared housing, there's always questions that are burning. So, to get started, the HomeShare program is part of the University of Michigan Health Systems Housing Bureau for Seniors. And the Housing Bureau has been around since 1983. And the goal, we have several different social work programs that help older adults remain in safe, affordable, and appropriate housing as long as they like. To that end, HomeShare is one of the programs, actually the original program of the Housing Bureau for Seniors. And you see our goal statement here. HomeShare program is to enable senior homeowners age 55 and over to remain stable in their housing of choice by providing a safe, screened, and compatible housemate who can help by providing companionship, some economic assistance, and even some chore assistance to the homeowner. And as Karen just said, 89% of people want to stay in their own homes, right? And HomeShare is a way for them to do that. Home sharing is not a new concept. Actually began in the 1970s, really hit its apex in the 1980s, and at its high point, there were about 200 programs throughout the United States. And at this time, there's only about 65. Once funded through the Older Americans Act, funding dried up, and programs were sent out there to do their own thing and find their own resources to continue, and many were unable to do that. We were one of about 10 programs in the state of Michigan, and right now we are the only program that's a shared housing program in the state of Michigan. But through the help of the National Shared Resource Center, National Shared Housing Resource Center, of which I'm the vice president, and ALA, which is Affordable Living for the Aging based in Los Angeles, we're actually working to put together a national campaign to bring shared housing to the forefront once again, because it is sustainable. It is a diverse housing option. Two types of shared housing situations are coordinated by my program. Oh, I just shot the bullet there. We have peer-to-peer arrangements, and these are where two seniors share a dwelling together, and this could be two or more seniors. We also have intergenerational home share relationships. This is when we have anyone age 18 and over who shares a home with a senior. So here you go. The most famous example of a peer-to-peer shared housing arrangement, right? And what I also have here for you is two actual program participants. You see Ken and Carol, and they're both participants in the HomeShare program. Ken was a graduate student that came to the University of Michigan and wanted to save on housing costs, and Carol's someone that lived close to campus and just needed a little bit of extra help around the house. So we were able to match them up, and he was there for his 2-year career at the graduate school, and you can see one of his duties was to help out in the garden. And for that, he paid her a modest rent and saved, we calculated, over $8,000 in housing over the course of 2 years, which is big when you think about student loans these days. Many benefits for the program. We have our homeowners, who we call home providers. And you'll see we have benefits such as companionship to help reduce aspects of social isolation that may be being experienced. Helps provide a sense of security and well-being, extra eyes and ears around the home, knowing that someone's going to be coming home in case there's an emergency. Financial assistance. Our housemates pay a modest rent to the homeowners, somewhere in the range of $300 to $450 per month, typically including utilities in most cases. Provides some sense of civic engagement. You're helping somebody else out that needs affordable housing. Connection to the community. We work with people that come from all around the globe to Ann Arbor and to Washtenaw County. And it's nice to have an expert of the locality living right down the hall from you to help get you assimilated and used to the surroundings. And also we provide chore assistance. And I want to stress that this is non-personal care, but this is the type of things we do in our own homes on a daily basis anyways. It's taking out the trash. It's maybe cooking and sharing a meal together. It's raking the leaves in the fall and shoveling the snow in the winter. Maybe it's a ride to a doctor's appointment here and there, right? So there's multiple benefits for shared housing for our homeowners. For our seekers, those are the people that are looking for housing. We call them HomeShare seekers. Many of the benefits are the same: companionship. A lot of the folks that come to me say, I just don't like living alone. I get a little bit reclusive when I'm by myself, and it's nice to have someone to talk to. Connection to the community. Again, if you're new to the area, it really is helpful to have a local expert there close by. Civic engagement, helping out a senior homeowner who may need a little bit of assistance around the home. You get a safe, comfortable, and home-like environment, so you're not living in a dorm or an institutional setting. You have an actual home. You've got a front yard and a backyard in most cases, right? And it's affordable housing in a community where housing is oftentimes not affordable. For 2013, the fair market rent for a single-bedroom apartment in Washtenaw County, $760. And that doesn't include anything. That's no utilities whatsoever. And again, HomeShare can offer rents in the range of $300 to $450 a month, including all utilities. So it really is an affordable housing option. And there's so many benefits for the community too. We're using available housing stock instead of creating more housing that's maybe not necessary. Provides affordable living, economic security to our homeowners, provides maintained homes and yards, and it helps to create a sense of community. So I'm going to walk you through our process really quickly here. 3 main phases, and there's many, many steps that go into each phase, but the application phase, introduction phase, and also we have our contracting and ongoing support phases. All of the people that come to the program to enroll, home seekers and home providers, all go through the same process. So we begin with our application phase. And you'll see we start by having everyone that comes to the program complete our 5-page application. This is very detailed, all the way down to obvious things like, are you a smoker? Down to, what's your home temperature preference? We do a character reference check on everyone that comes to the program of 3 people who've known the applicant for 1 year or longer who are unrelated to them. And we ask several important questions, including, would you consider living with this person yourself? If the answer is no, probably someone else wouldn't want to live with them, right? We do a criminal background check in the state of Michigan. It is through the iChat system, so we pull up some incredible things from the 60s and 70s. And we do have limitations on what we can do. If you have a felony record, we're not going to be able to be helpful to you. We're working with potentially vulnerable populations here. And also we do a personal interview for all of our seekers where we sit down and get to know them better. After we review all of this information, we learn about their ideal shared housing housemate. We also do a home visit with all of our homeowners. We can see how they function in their home, what they could use help with. We also get to understand who their ideal housemate is as well. In our introduction phase, this is where we actually sit down and look at all of the different information we've gathered about our applicants. We look at up to 17 different areas of compatibility when making referrals. When we have what we think could be a potentially good match, we'll call our applicants up and share just a little bit of information about the person. We're a social work program, so we protect as much confidentiality as we absolutely can, but we want to give you an idea who the person is. If they sound like a good fit to you, we'll then facilitate an in-person introduction. This typically takes place in the home provider's home. And this is when the seeker gets to see the space, they get to interview each other and ask any questions they may have. We're there to facilitate. Sometimes things are hard to talk about chores needed, maybe how much rent is. And we're also there to remind people this is just an information gathering time. No decisions must be made at this point. After the introduction's completed, we'll follow up with them several days later and see, what are you thinking? Does this seem like the right fit? Do you have more questions we can get answers for you? And if both parties want to move forward, we move into our next phase. If either party is a little bit reluctant or reticent, we go back to the drawing board. So our contracting and ongoing support phase, this is where we draft our month-to-month contract, which provides a great deal of flexibility for our homeowners and for the home seekers. We provide ongoing mediation and negotiation support if it's ever needed. Should an issue arise, they can call me up. I'll come sit down at the table and we'll work through whatever issue we can. If for some reason we can't work through an issue, or if it's a graduate student who's just finished their program and moving on, we also help with match dissolution support. So, all of our homeowners set their own prices for the HomeShare program, but we use this as a guideline. We have them pick a base rent, and in this case you'll see at the top right hand of the screen a contribution guideline of $400. So if someone came to the program and wanted to charge $400 a month, and they wanted 0 hours of assistance per week, their rent would be $400. If they were looking for 1 hour of assistance per week or 4 hours per month total, maybe it's just taking out the trash or running the vacuum around here and there once a week, something like that, we calculate that as a value of $10 per hour. So that would reduce the overall rent by $40 for that month, bringing it down to $360, so on and so forth, until you see a maximum of about 10 hours per week of chore assistance, being 40 hours per month, which is a lot when you think about it, would equate to $400 off a base rent, or in this case, a rent of zero or a complete service exchange. Very flexible in how we do this. Our homeowners are in control, and we're just there to help them along through the process. General requirements. HomeShare is not right for everyone, as I'm sure you can imagine. But in general, you have to have financial, physical, and emotional stability to be able to participate in shared housing. It's not just about a house, it's about a relationship. You have to be able to be flexible, and you have to be able to compromise. And when we look at the homes, you have to actually have a qualifying bedroom. I work with a lot of homeowners who have a basement that's been converted and they'd like to share that, but they don't have an egress window. And unfortunately, we can't help you there. You have to have at least 2 forms of egress and a closet to be qualifying as a bedroom. Have to have access to a kitchen facility and to a private or shared bathroom. I want to leave you with some fast facts about HomeShare to carry with you and perhaps spread the word. We've been around for over 30 years at this point. We receive about 300 inquiries into the program every single year. At any given time, we have about 50 matches in place throughout Washtenaw County, which means that over 100 people are housed through our program. Each year we make about 50 new matches, and I'm particularly proud of this one. Every month, the HomeShare program brings over $17,500 into the homes of local seniors. It's pretty significant. Additionally, about 400 hours of chore assistance are provided each month to local seniors, and if we calculate that at our $10 per hour volunteer rate, that's a savings of about $4,000 per month. On average, our matches last about 16 months in length, but our longest was well over 14 years. Same provider and seeker. And I like to leave with this one, mutually beneficial program that just makes sense, but it also makes dollars and cents. It's truly sustainable. It's truly something that most communities could do relatively easily, but for some reason they haven't. And we're so lucky that here in Washtenaw County we have had the support to continue this program for the last 30 years. So, my contact information, you can barely see my email address, but I have cards if you'd like one afterwards. I'd be happy to give it to you. Thank you.